Yo, what's going on, guys? Robbie here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving and him getting traded in the rumors. So, if you didn't know, recently I'm a little bit late because I haven't been as productive as I should have been. But if you haven't known, Kyrie Irving requested a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He has 4 preferred destinations that he'd like to go to: the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Miami Heat. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to go there because he does not have a no trade clause. So he goes anywhere wherever the Cavs ship him, but it would be cool to see him on a few of those teams that he wanted to be on. And I do have 3 other teams he could go to besides the 4 that he wants to go to. I'll get into those in a second, but I want to discuss a little bit about the 4 teams he wants to go to. So first up, the Knicks. If he wants to go to the Knicks, I can see it, but the only reason I think he wants to go is to pair up with A, Porzingis, and also B, New York is the central hub of every type of person, every type of shop, every type of anything. It's the cultural hub of the world, pretty much. And I understand why he wants to go there, because, you know, he just wants to experience things instead of being in Cleveland where it's not that great. He wants to be in a big market so he can make more money. And I guess that's a good move for his career in the long run after the NBA, but I don't think it's a good thing for his career and play-wise. Now onto the San Antonio Spurs. So on the Spurs, I could see this team knocking off Golden State. I'm not gonna lie. A lineup of, if they do keep pretty much their starting 5 that they have this year, I could totally see a lineup rolling into this season of Kyrie Irving, Rudy Gay, Kawhi Leonard, Pau Gasol, and I believe LaMarcus Aldridge, and that would be a deadly lineup. Especially they do have a nice bench. Like, adding Kyrie to that team would just make them so deadly. The problem is that the Spurs would have to give up pretty much all of their future picks and some of their talent off the bench. For example, they could have dealt Dwayne Dedmon this past year because he's a nice defensive piece, but he did not sign back with them, so they let them go. And they could have also dealt Jonathan Simmons, but they let him go, I believe. Actually, no, I think they did sign Jonathan Simmons, so I think they can deal him. I think they would have to do some sort of deal with Patty Mills going there as well. I'm not sure how the Spurs would pull this off, but then again, it is Greg Popovich and the Spurs, so they can pull pretty much anything out of their ass. So, you know, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see if that does go down. All right, on to the next team, the Timberwolves. Now, I'm a little bit biased about the Timberwolves because they're my favorite team in the NBA. Now, I've been an unbiased fan, and I still am an unbiased fan. Obviously, I do have a favorite team, but I don't really favor them all too much. The only reason that I like them a little bit more, sorry to say my mic, a little bit more than other teams, is because my mom grew up right in the city of the Timberwolves, and my dad grew up in a big market city, but the big market city didn't have any basketball teams, so the only other basketball team in the state was literally their rival in every sport. So I do like the other basketball team that's in that city, but I'll get into that later at a different date. But the Timberwolves would be a good thing. I've seen the trade talk circulating, and apparently it involved them giving up Jeff Teague and Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick from OKC for Kyrie Irving and Iman Shumpert. And I guess that's okay. It's just Iman Shumpert does not equal the talent of Andrew Wiggins. Like, I would really like to see the Timberwolves if they were able to keep Andrew Wiggins. I don't mind Jeff Teague leaving as much as I do mind Andrew Wiggins leaving. I mean, if they could somehow keep Jeff Teague as well, I guess that would be awesome. Like, if there was somehow that the Timberwolves were able to keep Cat, Wiggins, Butler, and still acquire Irving, that team could also knock out Golden State. I'm not gonna lie, as long as they have those 4 players, even if they don't have Kyrie, this year I could see the Timberwolves contending if Wiggins takes his defensive game up. That's the only question, is Wiggins' defensive game, because it's kind of funny, because when he came in the league, he was supposed to be a defensive asset, but now he can't play defense. But hopefully that'll be fixed under the new head coach in the Timberwolves, Tom Thibodeau, who is reuniting with Jimmy Butler, and he's very defensive-minded, so we'll see how that goes. Cat is already pretty good defensively, but if he could take the next step as a real rim protector and a real shot blocker, that would help the whole team out so much more. And obviously these guys can learn from Butler, but we'll see what's going to have to happen with them. Now the next destination, the Miami Heat, is an interesting one because they're not a team that this would help them out in the long run, because they'd have to give up Justice Winslow and Goran Dragic, I imagine. And I could see this team contending in the East for one reason only, and that the East is a joke. But I mean, it's not that bad of a lineup when you have Irving, Waiters, and Hassan Whiteside, especially when Waiters is actually getting starting minutes, and he's able to showcase what he was able to do. I honestly think if when he was in Cleveland, if they gave him actual starting minutes and a bigger role, he would be a 20 points per game scorer or plus now. Because if you look at him, he's basically replicated what he did in his rookie season, which was the last time he was able to actually handle the ball and have it in his hand a lot of the time. And if they're going to do the same thing this upcoming year, or at least if they have Irving to feed him the ball, I could see Dion Waiters averaging 20 per game, and that would make him one of the league's premier scorers if he could average at least 25. I can really see his scoring going through the roof these next 2 years or so. So we'll have to see this interesting dynamic. And then you have the defensive presence and prowess of Hassan Whiteside, obviously an annual Defensive Player of the Year candidate. The only problem with Whiteside is he's a little bit on the old side. Not old side, but you only have about 4 or 5 years left of him, and while as you have 7 years left of Kyrie, pretty much, well, not 7 years, 7 years of his prime left, 2 years of his contract, but I don't really see this team contending for a title. And if you ever talk to me, I consider contending for a title completely different than contending in the East. Contending in the West is contending for a title. Contending in the East is contending for second place. So I don't know if Kyrie really wants to stay in the East. I don't think he should stay in the East. I think he should go to a Western team. So now let me get into the 3 teams. I'm going to do this really fast. The 76ers, Kings, and Bucks. The only reason I think that these teams could require him is because they have lots of assets. The Bucks would end up trading, who is his name? Jabari Parker, probably a couple picks, and Malcolm Brogdon to the Cavs for Kyrie in a package deal. That would be nice to pair him up with Antetokounmpo. And the Kings have been rumored to ship a deal with De'Aaron Fox, some picks and some players, but I don't really see Kyrie Irving going to the Kings. I don't know why they do that, because I honestly think they just need to build upon their young player that they have right now that has the potential to have a superstar caliber player for many years to come that's going to be loyal from what he looks like right now. And Fox is a great kid, and I'd like to see him succeed. Alright, and the 76ers, the only reason for them is because they have a lot of assets, but I don't think they want to go after Irving just because they have a great young point guard in Markelle Fultz, but they do have the assets to do so. And the last thing I'll be talking about is a 3-team trade that has been rumored, where the Cavs will get Melo and Bledsoe, the Suns will get Kevin Love and Frank Ntilikina, the 8th pick of the 2017 draft, and the Knicks will receive Kyrie and Tyson Chandler. That's an interesting 3-team trade, and I'm excited to see if that does go down. But honestly, I think the biggest winners of that trade is the Knicks, because they're getting a quality center that they can put in place instead of O'Quinn or Joakim Noah, and they're getting a really nice point guard finally to pair with Porzingis. The Suns aren't really winning that trade because Frank Ntilikina is not a top 10 pick. He wasn't supposed to be, and he never was. I don't know why people rank Euro players so high. Obviously, I know Euro players have a lot of talent, but I was watching Frank Ntilikina's highlights, and I don't think he was a top 10, maybe top 15 pick, but I think he should have gone in the top 20. So somewhere from 12 to 20 was my range for him when I saw him. And I don't know why the Knicks picked him at 8 when Dennis Smith was still available. He's a project player. I think the only reason he's really getting picked is because he can shoot the 3 ball somewhat, and he's a 6'5" point guard who's really fast and thin. So I think that's a lot of the reason why the pickings is behind them. And also, I don't understand why the Suns would want Kevin Love, because I kind of see them just wanting to go with the younger route of players, and Kevin Love does fill their void at power forward for a competent offensive power forward. But the thing is, he's 28, almost 29. He's going to be out of his prime in 2 or 3 years, and that's when all of the young players in their team start getting into their prime, like Josh Jackson and Devin Booker, and that's when they're going to be deadly, and he's going to be just a bench warmer. So I don't see how that helps them. And the Cavs in this trade get significantly worse. Bledsoe is nothing compared to Irving. They're both all-star quality players in the East, but again, it's the East. So I don't know what the mindset is of getting Bledsoe there, but obviously you have to ship him and get something in return. But Bledsoe is nowhere near as good a player as Kyrie Irving. And I don't consider Melo a good pickup if you have to get rid of Kevin Love and Kyrie, because Bledsoe, LeBron, and Melo is a way worse lineup than Kyrie, LeBron, and Love. Now, obviously, Melo averages more points per game than Love, but Love can give you defense in clutch moments. Now, obviously, he didn't perform that much in this finals this past year, but on their title run in 2016, he did provide, I think it was a block per game, which I know doesn't say a lot, but he did provide some more defense than he usually does. And I believe Kevin Love just fit into their offense better, and he's a better rebounder. So I think the best scenario for the Cavs, if anything was going to happen, is if they were to keep all 3 of their core players right now and acquire Melo in a buyout. But I don't think that's going to happen, seeing as Kyrie Irving wants to be shipped. And I honestly think that the Houston Melo trade is actually going to go down, because as soon as Irving leaves, Melo's not looking at that place to win a title anymore at the Cavs. Even though there's LeBron there, there's no Irving. There's no chance they're winning if they don't have Irving. So you have the best player in the world, but you don't have his sidekick, there's no chance. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video. I don't really feel like doing a lot of editing right now. I would put a lot of time in editing to this because I do love it, but my problem is I'm extremely tired, and I do want to get this out for you guys as fast as possible. So what's going to be behind you is probably just a bunch of Kyrie Irving highlights, to be completely honest with you. And I'm just so tired right now. I've had a really sore few days, but I do want to say something. If you've made it this far in the video, I really do appreciate you. I have an announcement to make. I'm going to start sometime this month or sometime in the next month a gaming channel. It's basically going to be called TMM, the initials of this channel. It's going to be a second channel where I'm just going to play an assortment of games. It's pretty much going to be mostly funny moments, I think. But hopefully you guys will go check that out when that channel launches. It's not currently available yet, but I will set that up in the coming weeks. Mostly, I think what I'm going to do is I'll just record and edit funny moments for now. And when that channel gets bigger, hopefully I'll be able to hire an editor. And I think all I'm going to do is just stream on Twitch and have him just take my VODs and edit those down into funny moments and upload them. So if you guys are an editor that doesn't mind editing through an hour or 2 of content for funny moments, please hit me up. I'd like to discuss some things with you. I don't know about prices obviously, but you know, we can discuss prices and I can see what I can do. I'm just, you know, I'm looking for an editor. Just my problem is it's not that I'm a bad editor, it's just I don't enjoy it, and I don't like doing things that I don't enjoy. I love doing YouTube, don't get me wrong, and the editing is not that bad. I just rather you guys have someone who's way more talented and who's passionate about it help me get my content that I'm passionate about, so that you guys can have the best watching experience. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please do leave a like and a comment down below on anything you want me to do a video on. I will definitely take any suggestions, and if you want to maybe do an editor thing, just message me and leave a comment down below if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.